All right, another day working on the drag and drive car. The gas tank I got put in. A stock VW gas tank outlet is like not even a quarter of an inch, like probably closer to like an eighth of an inch. So the first thing I did is I adapted, how can I explain this? I used a bulkhead fitting. I used a 3/8 AN bulkhead fitting, and I cut off very carefully without making sparks. I cut off the stock outlet flush with the tank, and then did the bulkhead fitting, which is a nut on each side, and it's got nylon washers on either side. And that would probably be fine, but just to be like super ultra mega careful that I don't get any leaks, I actually skinned it over with some JB Weld. I haven't bolted this in yet. I could probably give a little peek. So there's my dash 6, and I went to a rubber hose because I want to use a generic fuel filter that I could get at any Napa or anything, because when you're dragging and driving, it's nice to, you got to be able to maintain your car on the side of the road if you have to. So I decided rubber hose would be better than AN fittings for that. I decided to kind of hold it there for now. That's the fuel line hanging down there. I decided to hold off on that until I get the suspension and everything back in, because I don't want to mount. I'm going to do a filter and then my fuel pump, and I don't want to mount the fuel pump and then realize, oh, there's a drag link bar there or something like that. So fuel system's on its way. I got the steering back in. I rebuilt everything on that. I got a dirt track style wheel for it. All right, threw the seats in. As you can see, there's not much room for stuff in between the seats. All right, it didn't end up where I thought it was going to be. I went right next to the e-brake, as far back as possible. Doesn't impede the use of the e-brake at all. And sitting in the driver's seat going through the gears, it doesn't interfere with that either. So I had to get it over to the right a little bit, which is tricky because there's a seat there. So for now, I just put one bolt through the tunnel just to temporarily clamp it in place. Now I'm going to put just to be 100% sure that it is going to work there, I'm going to put the passenger seat back in, make sure I can put that in and out easily without that being a hassle, and make sure that like the passenger's arm doesn't bump into it all the time, and you know, stuff like that. And then after that, I think I'm just going to weld a very simple plate right there. That's all it needs. And then obviously I got to run the 2 brake lines up to the front of the car. All right, I got another piece of the puzzle today. What did I have? I had this manifold and this air cleaner. And today I got the carburetors. These are Delorto 40s, side drafts. Not that way. And somebody had welded like a 2-inch pipe inside of here, so I carefully removed that, ground down the rough edges. There's still a lip here for the turbo coupling to clamp to, but they're filthy, need to be rebuilt. They need to be modified for turbos, but I got them. You only need one for this setup, but he gave me a killer deal on 2. It was like $175 for one, and then $50 for the second one, because I guess he just wanted to get it out of there. They came with these ugly square air filter bases, but I had, as I said before, I had this air filter from CarCraft, and it's really cool. It's actually like machined aluminum, like billet aluminum. I had these Velocity stacks. I had exactly 2 of them. So I got everything from the turbo to the air filter. I just got to figure out how to make them work. And another good thing about this air filter, it's way bigger than a standard air filter like you'd have on dual carbs. So I'm a big believer in having air filters that you know 100% are big enough. So I like that. It's gonna look cool on there. Now I just got to get them rebuilt and figure out how to modify them, spend hours reading my Turbo Mania book, and that's gonna work. Yeah, like I said, all I need is a 3-inch coupling. Clamp these two together, done. All right, I got fresh rebuilt lowered struts. I got all new bushings for the sway bar and everything. Got a flip it kit to help the steering geometry. Pretty much everything in the front end is new. I'm putting disc brakes on. I haven't put the caliper on yet because I want to test fit the new wheels and tires I got and just make sure that it's not too low, because I live out in the sticks and there's potholes and uneven driveways and whatnot. So if this thing is too low, low is cool, but there's a such thing as too low. So I got 165/65 tires for the front, and once I verify that the tires and everything fit, I'll put the new calipers and everything on. I got stainless braided lines that gives you a firmer brake pedal. So let's see if these tires fit. All right, I wasn't going to mention this because I wanted to keep it simple, but I said a minute ago that I'm putting 165s on the front of that. The reason for that is I had 185s on the front. This trailer had 165s on it. I wanted to try the narrower tires on that car, see if they fit better, but also on the trailer. Actually, let me go to the other side. I still have the 165 on this side. I hated the tire to fender gap, or whatever you want to call that. The tire is way in, like 2-3 inches, and to me it makes the fenders look goofy, like they stick out like wings. Let me see if I can get a better angle of that. I actually thought about narrowing the fenders because of how the tires stick out. Now, most people wouldn't care about that, but I do. Fender gap is very important to me, but what I'm getting at is this 185 is absolutely flush perfect. So I really hope those 165s work on the Bug, because I love these tires on this. And as far as like rolling resistance with trailers and stuff, 165 versus 185, it's still a tiny little tire. That'll be fine. All right, I just got excited and wanted to show that. All right, there's the final height. It's definitely not too low. Got about a inch and a half of fender clearance there. I do like the skinnier tires on the front, and I also like I put bigger tires on the back and smaller on the front, so it's got kind of that fats and skinnies look to it, which I like. All right, I decided to do a wing. I wasn't going to. I don't really like wings on street cars, but I kind of thought it would work good as a rain deflector over the air filter. I was going to do that anyway, make some kind of sheet metal cover, but I put this on just kind of jokingly. I borrowed it from my race car, and I actually really like it, so I'm going to go for it. I don't want to take this window out or ruin the rubber, so I kind of tucked this piece of aluminum under the rubber and pushed it up and propped it. So now I'm ready to weld the first tab there. All right, I've always said the most important part of drag racing is shifting. That makes or breaks a race, especially a bracket race. So all right, front to back, put a new bushing in the tunnel. I rebuilt this Hurst shifter. It's a real Hurst, not a knockoff. Part of the rebuild process, I was reading about them. These nylon blocks crack and wear, and there's a kit out there where they make a reinforcement plate. So I kind of copied that idea and just made my own reinforcement plate. The rivets were loose, so I drilled them out and nut and bolted them. So this shifter seems to be in very, very good shape. So shifter rebuilt, new bushing inside the tunnel. The hanger was in good shape. Sometimes when the bushing goes bad, the shift rod saws through the hanger. So the hanger was good. And in some pile of parts I bought, I got this coupling. I have no idea what brand it is, but it's like billet aluminum machined. So the shifts came out super precise now. Don't know if I've ever had a shifter that was this precise before, but works great. What are you doing?
Looking for you.
Maddie went to get me a Band-Aid. She's a little freaked out. I slipped and got one of those staples. Oh yeah. Nice of her to want to get me a Band-Aid, but I kind of feel like she ran for her life when she saw the chunk of skin flapping. Doing good, doing good, doing good. Oh. Maddie, there seems to be some kind of mystery red fluid on here. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Are you disturbed a little bit?
Maybe.
Stiff now. Now I'm trying to decide what to do for a deck lid. I wanted to have it complete uncut, but I just don't think that's, I don't know. I just don't think that's gonna work. So I'm gonna try, I got a couple spare deck lids, so I'm gonna try trimming this one like around the air filter and just see if I can get closer. See if I can get closer than 12 inches from being in the correct position. right, this video is kind of droning on. I got a lot of little projects going on, but I think I'm gonna end this video here. I got the wing mocked up and the deck lid done. So that's all. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but this engine in here right now is just a mock-up. It's just an empty case so that I can find out, you know, where the turbo is gonna end up and stuff like that. So now that everything's mocked and works, and I got the deck lid made, I can start building the engine. I don't think I said anything about, I got the layout of the gauges done, but I don't have all the gauges yet. I've got, over here's the oil, temp and pressure. Got my USB plug here. These are like wipers and things like that. Got a volt gauge there. Got my boost gauge right there. And these two are just placeholders for now, but this is gonna be AFR and fuel pressure. I wanna have a fuel pressure gauge because I need to have a boost referenced pressure regulator. So I wanna make sure the boost and the fuel pressure, you know, go up by the same increment. But got the dash laid out, and I'm gonna end the video here. So after this, there's a million little details, of course, but now it's gonna be engine and trans. So hopefully more exciting stuff coming after this.